Well, when we got in JD, the first time we got in JD, right, I think they ordered about 20,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And they'd lost
20,000.
This is how big their warehouse was, right? They'd lost 7,000 pieces.
What?
So like they had they got twin sets in, right? They got the twin sets in, but they lost the shorts for the twin sets. So the twin set, so it wasn't a twin set anymore. It was just t-shirts.
Right.
And obviously, at the time, we can't go in, we can't look for it. It all needs to be booked in for the people to look for it. And they couldn't find it because to go in JD, all your boxes need to be the same. Right. All they have that's different is your like label on. So obviously you got a thing if you go in the JD warehouse. It was fucking like, it was like an estate.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Paul Mort Talks Shit with my man Nathan Malcolm and his new name, Mr. Producer Mac. Mac, what you saying?
Producer Mac, I like it.
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
I'm excited. So guest today, Nathan Malcolm. We're going to have him tell his story a little bit. Nathan, another guy from SBG. We seem to have everybody from SBG on at the minute. Nathan runs two companies right now. Fresh Couture, which was his baby from the start, which I can't wait to hear about. And your new label, which is TOYG Active.
TOYG, yeah.
TOYG. I call
top
it
of your
TOYG.
game.
Top of your game. I love that. So talking about being at the top of the game, Nathan, what is tell the guys a little bit about your story. You don't have to look with the camera, by the way. I never do. I never do. It's too weird. You can just tell me and Mac about it.
Yeah, so I started Fresh Couture back when I was 16, so 2013. Originally started it because I just...
What did you do before 2013? I mean, not much if you're fucking 18.
I was... Between 14 and 16, I was just like a right little cunt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was
Where
a
are you
right
from?
little cunt. So I lived in Bradford from the age up to about 12, and then from there I lived in Newcastle. But from the age of 14 to 16, I just got in with the wrong crowd. I was doing like all sorts of bad shit.
Yeah, tell me about some bad shit.
Like,
we're going to get it all in now. What was the worst thing you did between 14 and 16?
So I was doing like thefts, I was doing shoplifting, I was just doing... everything. I'd done something really, but I don't want to mention it on this. But when I was 16 anyway, I was in Crown Court.
Oh, really?
And I was looking at like three years in juvenile. And then
was that life changing for you? That
was
Crown
life
Court
changing. You know what it was? It was just seeing my mum and stuff, and just thinking like, because her house was getting raided and everything at the time.
Oh, was it?
Obviously, at a young age, you don't really. It's so easy to get caught up in the wrong crowd.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
But that for me was the changer, the game changer, because I was just like, hey, I can't carry on doing this. And when I was doing shit, when I was doing something, when I did this bad thing, it was I got £5 for it. Got £5
really?
For it, yeah. So I went to Crown Court and I was looking at 3 years in juvie.
For a fiver.
For a fiver, yeah.
Fuck me.
And that's what just changed something in my head.
I love that. Dude, 16 is quite a young age to have that kind of realisation, though, isn't it?
I know, but sometimes it takes stuff like that to be like,
life changing. I'd say that almost everyone that's been on the show has experienced something like that. I mean, Tyson Fury, it was fucking almost driving his car off a bridge.
I heard that.
You know what I mean? Everyone's been through something like that. So 16 to 18, what was going on there?
Yeah, so 16 to 18. Anyway, so I couldn't. So from 16, I started Fresh Couture, and then so I had an idea in my head. So I wanted to start a clothing brand basically. Yeah. So I started buying clothes.
Dude, are you telling me, right? This is amazing. You've never had a job.
Never had a job.
Dude, that's amazing.
Never ever.
Dude, I love that.
I left school I got kicked out of school at 14, and
bro.
I never could get a job.
Yeah.
So it's from 16.
Yeah. So how did you get started with Couture? What was it?
So basically, I knew I liked art, I liked design and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I originally bought some t-shirts off eBay. Yeah. Got the t-shirts in. My mum was a seamstress at the time. So I bought some material and she was just stitching pockets on. But at the time, no one was doing what I was doing. Like it was quite original back then.
I remember seeing the first.
No one was doing it.
Really?
Like, on nights out and stuff, they were everywhere. Like I was just flooding like the market in Newcastle with it.
And it was just you and your mum.
Just me and my mum.
Wow.
Yeah. But then from about 16 to 18, it wasn't doing that well. It wasn't like I was making crazy money or anything like that. I was getting like maybe 10 to 20 orders a year. Yeah. So I had to get a job. I was doing labouring for a bit. I fucking hated it. Yeah. Like it was fucking shit. Yeah. It makes me appreciate it now. Like I'm glad I had that little run.
Dude, I worked in a factory for 4 fucking years, night shifts and that. Mac worked in a factory before he came here. So I think everyone's also been.
You've got to do it to appreciate it though, because if you just had good times, you wouldn't.
Nah, you got to eat shit. Yeah. You got to eat shit. Do you know what it's like? I think it's like this, right? If Rocky, when you first saw Rocky and he was already world champion, it would be shit. Like, and if Spider-Man didn't get bullied, it would be shit.
It's the build-up, innit?
All that shit, that hero's journey thing. I think at some point everyone has got to eat shit at some point in their life.
100%. And if you don't, these people that are like spoon-fed in that, they don't really appreciate it. Do you know what I mean? You need to go through the shit to actually be like, fucking hell.
It's the motivation, the drive to keep, because the shit days come and you're like, oh, wow.
Well, you know what as well? I think that sometimes when you're having a bad day now, you're like, actually,
it's nothing.
I could be where I was before.
Yeah, it's nothing. But when people haven't had that and they've had it good all their life and then have a bad day, it's like, oh, they just crash.
Yeah.
But I think that if you can do it at a young age, or you can go through the bad times at a young age, like when you get older, you just take it through your life. So I would never change anything. From
so what was the I'm fascinated by this whole process of growing this business.
Yeah. So like for 2 years, it was just friends and stuff by that saying I was getting about 10, 20 orders a day. And at the time I was still labouring. And then when I was 18, how old was I? It must have been about 18, 19. I went for a meeting in Manchester. So it was about 4 years into running fresh. Went for a meeting in Manchester with an agency and futsal on the same day.
Oh, shit.
Up until that number, I wasn't doing any.
How old were you, 18?
I was about 18, 19.
Fucking
so up until
that was surreal. Walking in there.
It was unbelievable. Like when I got the name card and I was taking photos every 5 minutes, I was videoing, I was buzzing because up until then I'd never dealt with anyone corporate or anything like that. To me, it was just me and my mum doing pocket t-shirts and stuff like that. So for somebody, and Instagram wasn't that big.
Do you think that helped you that you'd never done anything corporate? Do you think it was a bit because were you nervous or anything like that?
Nah, I was shit myself because I just didn't have a clue what to do.
And were you going in with the intention of?
I was just going in intention of going like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I didn't have a fucking, I didn't have a clue.
Well, that might have helped that you had no expectation. Like there was nothing to like, I must get this deal done. You were probably like,
But when I went down anyway, so like like I was saying, I was getting photos, I was buzzing to be there, and then same day I had the meeting with the agency, I had this meeting with Futsal, so I went to the agency anyway. The agency took one, and it's quite a big agency in Manchester. They've got like hundreds of stores that you can get you in. On that day I got both, so I got signed to this agency and I got signed to Futsal, and then within a week we had about 20 orders off the agency because back then it was seen on TV quite a bit. It wasn't like what it is now. Like I didn't have to pay anyone, so all I'd have to do is message.
What was it on like TV, like Geordie Shaw?
No, like just like Towie and stuff like that, like Geordie Shaw, that sort of stuff. But back then it wasn't the way it is now. Like you could give something to something and they could wear it on the TV. They could promote it on Instagram. You didn't have to pay them.
And they didn't have to hashtag ad and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like we got Alex Baum when he just come out of Love Island. Obviously, he was huge. We got like a few people as he just started to get big. And obviously at that time not having much money, it was ideal. It's not like what it is now.
So was it mainly influencer marketing kind of that got big?
But like back then it wasn't actually a thing. You used to just give people stuff on Instagram and they used to just post for free, and that helped them massively. Because obviously it's not like that now. Like, and I think it's very.
Unless you want to send me some shit, that is. I'll do it for fucking free. I'll buy it when in a day. I sending me fuck all because I spent some money. I love it. So when you say 20 orders, that's not 20 t-shirts, right?
No, yeah. So they weren't massive stores. They were just like tester orders of like 5. There were like 5 t-shirts just to kind of test it.
Smaller stores.
And then Futsal the next week put like a 10 grand order in, and for me at the time I was like, fucking hell, 10 grand. I was like, Jesus Christ.
And was that the point when
I made it?
Was that the point where your mum was like, Nathan, I might need some help? Did you have the knitting needle out on that?
Well, that's when I got the agency. Then they put one to a factory in Turkey.
Oh, was it?
But for me, I never thought of anything like that. I was just thinking I was just going to keep doing it at home, and because I was using a printing shop in North Shields as well, which I used to go to, and I was just thinking, I could just constantly carry on doing it there. But obviously,
screen printing.
Screen printing. So my mum used to stitch box, and I used to go there, screen print it, pick them up, and then obviously just dispatch orders from my house.
Were you so you were doing all the dispatching the orders from your house? Were you like, was all the design yours?
Yeah,
I love that.
Everything was just like me on PowerPoint. Actually, that's how I used to design.
Was it really? On PowerPoint? Wow, and that's not even a design platform, is it? That's what I use when I'm on the stage. Fucking hell, dude, that's crazy.
That's what I was doing it on. But yeah, like I say, the place at 10 grand, all the next thing, I was like, fucking, I'm gonna buy my house, and I was like, that's it done. But then it took, like I say, 4 years from there of doing labouring and doing all the shit and fresh really not working. To then that one day, that overnight thing, just changed everything. And then it was just literally just an uphill thing from there. But people don't really see that.
I bet it hasn't always been uphill. Like the whole thing.
But like it went up like that, and then it's been like, but for the business side, for like Fresh actually becoming a proper business, because it wasn't even a proper company up until then. It was just like
you with a bit of a side hustle.
Didn't know how much I was making. I was just getting like bits and bobs here and there. But then on that day, that's when it became like a proper corporate.
It went from side hustle. I bet I
went to corporate business. Went from like obviously 10 to 20 orders a day.
Did you hand your notice in?
Yeah.
Did he literally, that was it?
Yeah, that was it. That week I was just like,
I love it.
That's it, game over.
And back then, what were some of the biggest challenges you had?
It was just them 4 years of just not really knowing. I was thinking, like, I'm 18, 19 now. I left school with nothing. Do you know what I mean? And I was just thinking, like, what if this doesn't work? I am going to be fucked. I don't want to be a labourer. I don't want to.
And how did you get over that? Because everyone listening will have that hindering thought in their mind about something. What if it doesn't work?
Well, I get a lot of messages on Instagram and stuff of people asking, how did you take the jump on my bar? And I think the younger you can take it, the better, because if you were to take it when you're a bit older and you've got like mortgages and you've got family and stuff like that, like I'd rather do it then when I'm living at home. And if it doesn't work,
the worst that's going to happen is you're going to have to keep living at home.
That's what I mean. That is the worst that's going to happen. You haven't got massive bills over your head. You haven't got anything like that. So, but even as you get a bit older, even now, like just take.
There must still be a bit of doubt in the game. Yeah, you know what though? I think, and Conor McGregor say, I've been quoting this a lot recently, right? Conor McGregor has this thing where he's like, the only time you doubt yourself is when you're not working.
Yeah.
Like, self-doubt disappears when you're working.
100%.
And I bet that's what you were like, probably like back then. You're like, oh, well, I'm doubting, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fucking... You kind of make it work when you're working.
I think if you just believe in yourself, you know yourself if you're made for a normal 9 to 5 or if you're made for something more than normal 9 to 5. And I knew in my head, I was like...
Well, you didn't really have a fucking option with no GCSEs,
That's
mate.
what I mean. But sometimes I think when you're not good at school, it's not a bad thing if you don't leave school without GCSEs, because like they're setting you up to... I don't mean this in a bad way, but to be a sheep in life. And sometimes you can kind of break away from that. And most entrepreneurs now haven't even used the GCSEs. They don't use them.
I agree. Well, I've got 2.
That's what I mean. Look at you.
Mate, in French and Spanish.
That's what I mean.
Do you know why I passed French and Spanish? Because it was an oral exam. Not that I'm saying I'm in an oral. Mrs. Mort's probably fucking watching. I'm not that I'm saying I'm in an oral, but you know. I love it. So so I love that, mate. Like, and I agree with you. Like, qualifications. People ask me all the time, what qualifications have you got to do this? I said, I haven't really got any, but what I do have is fucking results.
Yeah.
And results beat those fucking
100%. Well, it's results. Is it not results day today? It's results day today.
It's a bit of a fucking shit show at the minute.
No, it is actually. It is results day
for kids, and I think kids will get like some bad results and they think that's it. And it's so easy at your age, when you're younger, at that age, to be like, oh, that's it, I'm a failure in life. And that's how you can get down the bad track.
Have you not seen what's happened at the minute with the results?
No.
Not out today, isn't it?
Yeah, but basically with obviously COVID and everything, the given people, so they've got to give them the predicted scores.
Right.
But obviously, the way they're doing it is giving it off like demographics. So where you live, like your postcode, how many people you've got in your family, what kind of income your family have got. So
I'd still be fucked if it was that from
all these people who are graded like A stars and everything are getting C's because they live in like shit areas.
Wow.
But the people who are living in the nicer,
that's discrimination. That
mate, it's blown up at the minute.
Really, that's what's happening.
Blown up at the minute.
Wow. By the way, did they take the GCSEs at home or something?
No, they're getting the
they haven't even taken them.
They haven't taken exam. The mock exams they're getting,
right.
The scores that they got on them, they're getting their predicted grades based off that.
Wow.
And then to appeal each result, you've got to pay like £100 for each one.
Well, some people in poor countries that have probably got the bad results can't afford that.
You've got to pay.
You've got to pay.
Upgraded result.
No, you've got to. If you want to appeal your result, you've got to pay 101 for each exam. Wow. So that's if you've got 13, that's just over $1,000.
That's fucking shit. Well, the people that have got them lower scores will be the people that are probably poor.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not
stealing from the poor.
They're not going to be able to.
Stealing from the poor, give it to the rich.
That's horrible.
Wow, that is fucking nuts.
That's what I mean. Imagine all them kids that are now sat like, oh, I've got nothing.
And what am I going to do? Fuck all about it.
They can't even outwork it, can they?
Can't even do fuck all.
Shit, and there's only 2 ways that's going to go, right? Like, anything like that, there's only 2 ways really going to go. You're going to fucking be like, fuck you, I'm going to show you. Or it's going to go the other way, which is like, I wasn't that bothered anyway. Do you know what I mean? I think that happens quite a lot. When something bad happens, I think everyone's been through some challenges. There's only 2 reactions. You can fucking go fucking blame everybody else, which let's just say that's valid blame, by the way.
Yeah.
But, it is.
Or you can be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But like you say, I don't know. I mean, I haven't employed anyone that's just left school, but I'm like, does anyone even look at that anymore? I mean, I never look at your qualifications. If you're employing somebody, do you look at their qualifications much?
It's not. It's about characteristics. Like,
I go purely on attitude. I can tell. You can tell when you meet someone or speak to someone, even reading their CV, what their attitude's like. And for me, anybody that, and I'm sure everybody that's listening to this who employs people, I mean, whether I look at the GCSEs or not, I don't even look at any qualifications really.
I don't think you need to.
Matt would still be in the fucking factory.
He would be sat here.
Wouldn't it? Matt's got an NVQ in fucking engineering or something, right?
Fucking brushing up.
Where were you working?
Responsive engineering on the time.
Yeah. So he was a plater.
Plater, but
Plater, now he's
half my fucking trade sweeping up. Because we went through times when there was loads of work and we're shit hard busy, but went through times where there was fuck all to do, and instead of just saying, "Oh, go sit in the cabin, chill out," just made you sweep the same shit over. And that's just a power thing. That's just a power trip. Just to say, right, you go do sweeping up. Honestly, mate.
Wow.
That's the thing with them big, massive corporations, or they're like that. They're like they treat the people below them like shit.
That's
I don't think it should be like that. I think it should be like a family of.
Yes. I can't even get him to fucking clean his desk now, man.
Telling you F off.
He doesn't even do that. He just strangles us 3 times a week. So Nathan, what was the back then? What were some of the biggest challenges that you had?
Biggest challenges?
Yeah, there's got to be. So back then, listen, you're fucking 18, 19. You've just signed with Foot Asylum. It's you and your ma.
For me, I think the biggest challenges was before that. It was some months not getting orders. It was some months thinking like, I'm not making money off this. What is the point of doing it? It was just like, and then you get in the back of your head of you don't really believe in yourself, and then you think, well, what if this doesn't work? What if I jump a couple of years ahead and it still hasn't worked? Like, what am I actually going to do? And I think it's the same with a lot of people now that get that sort of mentality in the head. But now I've been through that, and I've been through Fresh, and I know how it works. And I know if you do put 100% in, no matter what, it is going to pay off. And that's why with anything I do now, I know it's going to kind of work. Do you know what I mean?
And even if it doesn't, you're gonna be alright.
I've done business. I've set up about 7 businesses.
Have you?
5 of them. I was trying to sell slime at one point. Like,
that's what he does.
That's what I do.
Slime.
Sell slime kits.
That's
they make your own slime kits.
Yeah, I made a business trying to sell slime. Women's clothing.
This is like a world exclusive. This Nathan Malcolm selling fucking slime. I love it. It's going to be on the front page of the news of the world.
It's done all right. To be fair, it just didn't do anything like. I think again, you've got to kind of be passionate in it. Depends if you do it through like Amazon or something different. But when you actually have a business in it, I was like, I'm not passionate with this. Person shopping, I'm not passionate with this. I was doing trainers, I wasn't passionate.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you know what's interesting here is that I say this all the time. Everyone only sees that success.
Yeah. No one
you're
knows.
like, mate, I've failed more times than you've even fucking tried.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. People are like, oh, you've got this book, this podcast blew up. I'm like, do you not think I've tried to start this kind of shit before? The thing is, we're not, I mean, this is everybody, by the way. You don't exactly tell people about all these things that don't work, do you? You're a little bit less, because you don't necessarily want people to know. But I think it's an important thing to get across that, mate, that 5 of the things didn't work because
one thing did, you
weren't that passionate about them, other than they might have made some money. Mm-hmm. I fucking love it, mate. And I think that, that's such a fucking valid point.
Same with anything though, like you'll have some friends yourself that are always like, oh, should I do this? And then like a year down the line, they still haven't done it. And I think like if you started it when you just originally said it, it could have failed or it could have worked. And I'm the sort of person that no matter what, if I get an idea in my head, I'd rather do it. And if it fails, it fails, and I can look back and be like, oh, at least I tried it. Yeah. But if it works, it works. Then you're like, oh.
I think what I'm hearing with Nathan here is that, and this is an important point to make, is that everything that you've done, almost because at the start you had to, you've gone all in on.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't just played around with it on the side and done it when you felt like it. It's like, right, it's like us with this podcast. I was like, I didn't want to do a thing where I really just interview people on Zoom on the side. Like, I've had to employ another woman to do half of Mac's work so you could do the podcast. I bought the camera, I bought the microphones, I bought that instead of just using my computer.
Exactly, you went all in.
And I'm fucking going all in on it because I'm like, again, the worst thing that's going to happen though, and I've even said this now, if I get to a point where I don't like doing it, I'll just fuck it off. Because I think we get to this point, and I'm glad we brought the GCSE thing. I think that at school, the kind of thing, they try and make you figure your whole life out when you're 16.
100%.
What do you want to do when you're older? I'm like, I didn't fucking know. Even now, I'm like that now. I'm like that now. Last night I did a Q&A on Instagram, and people asking my daughter what she wants to be when I grow up, when she grows up, and I was like, do you want to be a boxer or a cage fighter? She's like, I want to be an artist. But I'm like, I don't put, obviously she's fucking 7, so I don't put any pressure on her, but I think there's nothing wrong with starting something and then stopping it.
100%.
Like, even now, I think adults are like, we're scared. Like, I remember talking to a guy who he's an online PT and he's killing it, right? And he also had this like food prep company, and the food prep company wasn't doing very well. And he hated it.
Yeah.
And he was like, he wouldn't stop because he said, well, that means I failed. I'm like, actually doing something that you hate, that's failing anyway.
Because even if it was to take off, you're still going to be stuck in.
And I said, and listen, if you stop, no one even cares. Like, no one's bothered if you fail or not because they're too busy worrying about their own shit.
People have so much like this idea that everyone gives a fuck about what they're doing. And not many people really, like, probably close family and people will be like, all right. And then it'll kind of blow away with the wind.
100%.
But people think like this, the care.
People do love to see you fail. Like, don't get it wrong. Like, I've got people speaking about it, stuff like I say, refresh and stuff. Like, I don't really promote it and stuff as much, and I've heard of people like slagging me off and stuff like that. But people love to see you fail.
Is that other people with other companies?
No.
Is it not?
No, it's not.
Like people in your town?
Yeah,
people near you?
So people that aren't really doing much, and that's the reason why. But I think with entrepreneurship, it's like and not many people realise it's like businesses. You fail, you keep going, and if they fail, they fail. It's like with some normal people, it's a job. So if you hate a job, you finish that job and you go to another job. It's not like you fail at that job. You just want to get out of that job. So it's the same with business. If you do something, even if it works, it doesn't work, and you want to get out of it, go do something else. Doesn't mean you fail.
I think the biggest thing is and John Kavanagh says this. We'll get him on. John Kavanagh, Conor McGregor's coach, says this. He has a book actually called You Win or You Learn. So like those businesses aren't failing. I bet you've learned a lot of lessons from
100%.
having this line. And the biggest one is you weren't really into it that much.
You learn. But then again, it's like at the time, it's an idea, something you want to try. And if you never tried it, you wouldn't find out if you hated it or it didn't work.
Yes.
So like, it's probably the same with a lot of like big
And one thing I wanted to ask you is, we're talking about you and your mum, but you must have had some help and guidance along the way, have you?
No, I haven't.
Have you not?
I never have.
Really?
No.
Not even with the number. You must be into numbers a little bit as well, because we were talking off air before when I was talking about running a supplement company, and a lot of clothing brands start up and disappearing. And I was like, a lot of people don't realise it's a big numbers game, right?
Yeah.
So did you figure all that shit out yourself? The numbers
literally just all myself.
Really?
Like, I haven't really had that sort of side of it to get the help like that. So it's just all been adapting along the way and just
hustle,
out myself.
designing. You've done the accounts and shit yourself. Wow.
Everything.
Wow. What's the hardest part of it?
Hardest part. Do you know what it is? I've enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed it for the past 7 years. Well, not the first 3 years. 3 years was always like a bit of doubt and stuff like that. But for the past 4 years of it being in big stores and stuff like that, I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. Nothing's really been.
Yeah. Do you know the fact that you've been going 7 years? I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Because you see, we were saying before that you see so many of these clothing companies, these apparel brands, just they pop up, do all right for a little bit, and then they just fucking disappear. Why do you think that is, by the way?
Because I think it's like when you do have them hard bits, like I said at the beginning, for the first 3 years, I was hardly doing anything. Like only people I was selling to was like friends and stuff like that. Yeah. It's in first 3 years that I stuck out. Many people don't want to do.
They don't get past that.
But they see people with big brands and stuff, and they just see the overnight thing, or you got in full asylum. They don't see, like they say, the 3 years of shit that I'd put up with and try to break through for them. That's what a lot of people don't do. Yeah. That's what people.
And I think that probably for 3 years, you were talking about the labouring, right?
Yeah.
I think for 3 years, I think, now that you're saying this, mate, the biggest mistake that I think a lot of people will make is they think they can take money out of the business for themselves.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah, it don't work.
I think I think a lot of, especially with a product or a widget or stuff, not like what we sell, it's like you can't take, even on my book, like by the time we paid for printing and that, because it's self-published, I don't make any fucking money. Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah. A lot of people on the course, that I run Amazon course, and they say, oh, well, when can I take the money out? And I went, you can take it out whenever, but that £100 you take out at the start, or £200 is like $3,000 in the future.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's, yes, you're taking £100 out, but you've got to think what that £100 could turn into.
Do you know what I think happens? I think you've got to get out of the 100%. Sole trader mentality. Yeah. Even if it's just you, that money is not your money. No. Yeah. It's the company's money in it. And I think that's probably a huge thing that happens in the clothing and the apparel game, is that people think when they sell a t-shirt that fucking money's £8 theirs, and it's not. For me, that happened with my supplement company. We didn't make any money. I mean, we made money, but we had to keep putting it back in and putting it back in. I think a lot of people aren't willing to do that. They think just sending that t-shirt to some people and getting an Instagram.
But I know what it is. I think you've got, because when I first started, even I done that. Like I remember, I must have made like $4,000 or something from selling the stock. But being so young, I bought a car with that $4,000. I didn't put it back in.
Yes.
But from that, I learned. I had no money for that stock again. I had a nice car, but there was no stock
pushing
there.
It everywhere.
No, it is.
Leave it on his Mars drive.
It was a Cat D at the time, so
really?
Fucked, the engine blew up on it.
Oh,
so that was my first. That was my first real thing with money.
Yeah.
Because I only had £5,000, but that £5,000 went on the car, so I had no stock.
Yes.
And then the engine blew on the car, so I could only get £500 for that car. So I've just lost £4,500 within the space of 6 months.
There you go. That's a failure that you've
learned. That was a failure that I learned from. So then I had to put that £500 back in, and I kind of had to start again. But that was in the 3 years of kind of learning.
Out. Yeah.
So that's how I've kind of learned about money. Even now, I kind of do some bad stuff, and but that's how you learn. You got to learn by doing it, and it's a massive lesson.
I'm never going to do that again.
Dude, dude,
make sure you check it's a Cat D because an engine blows.
Dude, honestly, I love that because again, I think so many people make that error of just like you got to think it's not you, it's a fucking company. Like it's a company, and I think you have to treat it like that. I think so many people, we've had guys in our program. The big shift that I made for them is like we get like builders and that in, and they're big. That's a big trade where you need to about cash flow.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm like, you've got to consider that you're not a builder, so you're not a designer.
Yeah,
you're a company director.
Yeah,
and that's a big mindset shift for some people. Like this guy, like Brock, you'd be listening. Brock was this guy was a builder, and he'd go into his house and he'd go dressed as a builder to do quotes. I'm like, mate, what I want you to do is take your fucking silicone covered high vis vest off, right? Take your fucking shit cut boots off, go in a polo shirt and a pair of pants, right? And that shifted his mindset from builder to fucking business.
Director,
running a 7-figure business, and he's director, businessman, owner of a company, not builder. And that was a huge shift for him, and that's essentially what we're seeing here. Is like you're not a guy designing clothes and selling to your mates, you're a business owner. And business owners
soon shift, can't it?
That's just a
weird thing to think of though, because I think director or suits and flying around to business meetings with your briefcase and stuff, it's not like that anymore. Like that's why I think most people don't see themselves as directors, because it's envisioned to look like that when it's not.
Like,
I wear tracksuit every single day. I've been to big meetings with JD Futsal and I go in a tracksuit. But like
they probably love that.
They probably do love that. Exactly. You've got to wear.
You're backing your brand as well.
That's what I mean. But to some people, it's like, if you're going to these big massive deals and stuff like that, and you're not in a suit, I think it's just envisioned in people's heads to be like that, but it's not.
It's actually a mindset rather than a fucking shift of clothes for you, right?
Yeah. Might have been back in the day like that, but now everything's changed, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that we have this when I go on the stage. So I did do you know Master Debonair? Have you heard them before? Master Debonair suit company. So I went on their podcast recently. Simon's a mate of mine, and I always think, should I go and get a suit from Master Debonair for when I speak on the stage? Because everyone else, you know what it's like, Mark, when I'm on the whenever I go on the stage, everyone's got suits on, everyone's got a 3-piece suit on. And I'm thinking, should I do that? And then my wife's like, well, that's not you. You're on the stage and you're 100% you. It's like saying, should I swear or not? I'm gonna fucking swear. Do you know what I mean? It's like, should I say less fucks and less shits, and sometimes I even say cunt, sorry ma'am. Sometimes I even say, all right, sorry ma'am, I'll be watching. But it's the same with suits. I wouldn't be being me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And I wouldn't be comfortable either. I mean, you look sexy in a suit, let's face it. You especially look sexy in a suit. You look sexy in a suit, Nathan, right? Three-piece Malcolm. But yeah, I totally get it, mate. So I want to rewind again to this foot asylum thing. What was it like for you? Because I didn't even know you were in there until you did a JD Sports thing, right?
Yeah.
Was that last year, that?
JD was last summer, yeah.
And how did that come about?
Last summer. So basically, it's like a stepping stone. Foot Asylum can take a lot of brands on to kind of give them that breakthrough chance.
Yes.
And
what's the difference between the brands that stay and the brands that don't?
The numbers.
Really?
Numbers, yeah. If you're not doing the numbers, that's all it is to them.
That's all. It's
a numbers game. They don't they literally don't care.
All they care
so
about.
When we went to Foot Asylum, we were in there for 2 years. It was numbers because we were constantly evolving. We were constantly hitting targets. Blah blah. We're in that many stores around the UK. We're in like loads of little stores. So we're in about 100 little stores. We're in 50 Foot Asylum stores. JD obviously caught wind of that. They seen the Instagram and stuff all blowing up. They seen it on all the influencers and stuff like that.
So they came to you.
Then the buyer that was at Foot Asylum, he went to JD, and he obviously seen the numbers that we were doing in Foot Asylum, and then he was like, obviously he had to meet him because with JD it's just it's a lot harder. Like there's so many people above certain people,
decision makers higher.
So the buyer had to go someone. Then they had because not many brands getting JD. Like for my size brand, not many people. There's about 4 brands. So to get into JD was a massive accomplishment. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously they've got like Nikes, Adidas's and stuff, and then they've got 4. It's called JD now, and they only took 4 or 5 brands on. So for us to be one of them in the whole of the world, basically, it was fucking nice. It was massive. But anyway, so
JD's in like airports and that as well, right?
Huge. JD was fucking. It's huge.
And did your business have to grow? Because you think just getting in JD Sports is going to grow your business, but your business has to grow.
Yeah, it has to grow.
Like you have to almost. It's not them that's forcing you. Like it's not them that's growing your business. Really, it's your business has to grow to stay.
Well, your buyer has to sell it to the board meeting, and that board meeting has to sell it to the person above him, and then there's a person above him. So they have to sell this business, and they need to show him the numbers, and he'd be like, he's doing such and such.
And have you had to grow to keep up with demand?
I've had to grow to get to that size. Do you know what I mean? So then, basically. So they've had the meetings and stuff, had these board
meetings. They don't want to be running, because we talked about running out of stock, and they don't want to run out of stock either, eh?
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing that's hard though. When you asked before, what's hardest thing? It's the stock. Yeah. Because like when I first started, I was on the top 35 quid, and I was like, I've made 35 quid, not thinking of anything within that 35 quid. I wasn't thinking of the shipping. I wasn't thinking of the adverts it cost to sell that. And then I wasn't even thinking of the cost of the product. I was thinking, I've got 35 quid. So when I bought that car, I thought it was a profit, but it was. I probably got about 5 out of that 35 quid. But when
people don't realise that, man.
People don't think.
Yeah, and then you've got tax. You'll have your fucking eyeballs
that's what I mean. And then you've got VAT as well.
Especially you probably stopped it. You were probably taking a bit of cash back then as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I've done.
So it's just like, but even it's only been the past year or two that I've even started to have someone in and kind of do the numbers like that. So this is like your net profits, your blah blah blah. So when I had that board meeting yesterday, that was what that is about. So, but you don't realise when you make like 100 grand, it's probably like 10 grand profit.
Yes.
But when you first start, you say you made 100 grand, but fucking I've just made 100 grand.
Yeah.
I've made it, but it's not like that. But it takes like a big accountant. So it takes an accountant to run them numbers and be like, no, you can only take 5 grand.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it's
then you'll have all that forecasting to do as well, right?
Have all the forecasting, then you've got to think, well, do you want to take it? Do you want to put it back into your brand? Like in 2018, we done 1.1 million. Out of that 1.1 million, 100 grand was profit.
Really?
Which is not much,
mate. And that's a lot of. I can't even imagine how hard you've had to work.
That's serious work. Like we must have done, and that was in Foot Asylum doing massive orders. That was in obviously the website. Like the units we sold were ridiculous to get that 100 grand profit, and then even on top of that,
and this is why so many people are giving up, because they see companies like yours, companies like fucking Gymshark. Holy shit! Did you see that yesterday?
It's fucking crazy.
Mate, I'm gonna get him on.
Fucking what is it? 1 point. He'll have more of a story than me. 1.4 billion.
Dude, I was like, because I didn't know the guy's name. Obviously, I know Gymshark. A few of my friends are sponsored by them. And someone sent me last night, you got to get him on. I was like, I don't know who he is.
Crazy,
that's probably quite good that people don't know who he is.
Crazy. Yeah, the thing with him though, he's a very humble guy. You can tell he could have it all. He could probably retire now. Do you know what I mean? But could have the fancy cars. But from what I see him, if he's riding around on like Harley Davidson, he's got a nice little house. He's got a girlfriend and stuff. Yeah. Which is what you should kind of be like to make that sort of money, because it's so easy for money to get your head. Like even myself, I've done stupid mistakes. So I just think, why have I even done that? To impress people. Yes. What is the point?
Yeah.
And now I've kind of shaved it, because when I was 20, I had a house, had nice watches, I had a nice car and all that, but I just wasn't happy.
Yes.
Wasn't happy. I've just moved back home, got a nice car, I've got sold my watches and stuff, and now I'm just building the money in the bank, and I've started a new business to put the money into.
Making those smaller decisions,
Yeah, now I'm happy. But
that just kind of shows that you enjoy the process.
Yeah,
you enjoy building the brand.
You enjoy the bit. You still enjoy the hustle.
I enjoy the work, and that's why I've moved back home and stuff. But to some people, I say, oh, I mustn't be doing that well. But to me, it's like much happier now. And I'd rather put a lot of money into this brand I'm starting now, TOYG, than have the flash cars and stuff, because I feel like I've done it now, but when I had it, I was impressing people I didn't really give a shit about. Do you know what I mean? But now I'm happy I've done that.
Everyone's speaking to that. I'm like that on my car. Everyone's like, my kids are like, you're going to get a new car? I'm like, Emma, I walk here every day. I drive my car once a week.
You got to do it though. You have. I think you haven't got to do it, but if you haven't, because not everyone's got like mentors or a dad or like a figure to be like, no, don't do that, or like a financial advisor. No, not everybody's got that. So you've got to kind of make them stupid mistakes, and then
learn from them.
Learn from it. But luckily I've done it at such a young age, so now I can, like, do you know what I mean, do the right things now, rather than if I was 40. So I'd made money for so long, and I got to like 40 odd, and then I just started making money, and then I'd done it, and I had a family and stuff, and then I wanted to go for the nice cars, stage and stuff like that. Just not the right time. I'd rather hopefully get out of the way when I'm young. Get the bullshit when I'm young, like waste the money now, and then I've got a lot longer years to obviously
enjoy
it, like properly though, not like fake enjoyment.
Yes. Yeah,
I think that's the thing with a lot of people as well. Fake enjoyment. It's like,
you see it on Instagram all the time, mate. It's just like, oh, he's had a flash car, but are you really happy?
My favourite one by far. James Smith laughs at this. James will be watching this. Is he said when people post today's office, I'm like, mate, you're on holiday. Turn it off. Honestly, a guy that I know, I hope he's not watching, because he'd probably be fucking offended by this. He posted yesterday that he's in Ibiza, right? And he's like, he'd posted it, but he posted it in like third person. On his own Instagram, and he sat against a palm tree, right? You got sat against a palm tree, the rough as fuck, right? That's fucking prickly. He sat against a palm tree on his laptop, pretending that he doesn't know anyone's taking the photo. You've all done. I've done them photos of you.
I've done that.
Where you have to pretend you don't know the people's looking. Anyway, so he's sitting against the palm tree, saying, "Here's Matt working in Ibiza. What's your favorite place to work?" I'm like, certainly not against a fucking spiky palm tree, man. On holiday.
That's like a trader thing. Is he a trader or not?
No, he's not a trader.
I was going to say that's like the forex trader.
It is a forex trader. It is.
I hate that sort of stuff.
I'm like, mate, you're on holiday, have a good time.
Enjoy it.
Also, how the fuck can you see a laptop screen? You can't see your laptop screen. It's so fucking sunny. There's a glare off it. You can't see jack shit.
It probably wasn't even on, man.
Nah, it's crazy. I love that kind of shit.
But that's
Instagram
for traders, though. For traders, that is their job because they want to try sell it. Like forex traders and stuff, they need people to be like kids and stuff. Oh, look at him, I want to live that lifestyle. But if you're in business like ours, like you don't need to do that. You don't need to show off and stuff. Like why do it?
Well, also, in you've took that step where now there's you and then there's the business. Yeah. And that means actually that in the future you've got something to sell eventually. You know what I mean? You've got something to leave behind. It's not really you. You're kind of, when you first started it kind of was you, wasn't it?
100%.
Yeah, it was you. You were the face of it. You were like knowing everybody. People are buying from you, and then now there'll be people who don't even know that's what you do.
Nah, most people.
Probably where you live probably think you're a dealer.
Yeah, they probably do.
I've had that when I had the supplement company. I was driving around, funny enough, in the same colour car as yours, the matte black, which is a nightmare to keep clean.
Yeah, it's shit, innit? I wish it never got done.
Honestly,
I thought it was going to be easier.
Dude, with 2 kids and greasy fucking fingers, I just had a car covered in greasy fingerprints.
Yeah,
but I was driving around in one of them, and people they didn't know what I did. I was like, I sold powder, but it was green. It was green powder. But that's great that, like, now, you were saying before that, and even I was saying to Matt, wasn't I? Has he still even got Fresh Couture?
Yeah, I have. It's just I'm trying to go down a different direction now. It's like I was saying before, like, if you don't like a job...
But that's because we follow you.
Yeah.
It's not the Fresh Couture on... That page is still going.
If you know Fresh Couture, you know it's fucking smashing at the minute. But if you follow me, then you're thinking, oh, well, why is he not posting it? I don't need to post it anymore. Fresh is its own thing now. It's got staff.
It's like a 20. It's like
directors.
It's like when your kids grow up.
Yeah.
You've seen your kid grow up. He's left home.
Well, that's what I mean. So now it's time for me to kind of adapt and do something that I'm actually passionate about. And Fresh isn't going to stop growing. It's still going to grow with or without me now because it's a commercial brand. I don't need to be there anymore. We've got a full-time designer. You know what I mean? We've got all that sort of things.
You're not on PowerPoint anymore?
No, I give it up.
Is he using the real stuff?
About 3 years in that to upgrade to Photoshop.
Really? 3 years in, is it?
3 years in that to go to Photoshop.
Yeah. And when did you stop doing? You're still be involved in that whole process, though, are you?
Yeah, I still like oversight.
Did they come to you with ideas, though?
Well, no, do you know what it is? Like, sometimes in business, you need to think, are you the best person for that job? But for me, for years, I was just thinking, no, I'm the best at that. I'm the best for this. Mate. And it took me to do a few designs and stuff. Yeah. And it wasn't commercial enough. It was more for like a cooler person, more contemporary, but it wasn't for my customer. Yes. So then when we got this diner in, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to take a step back. And since I've done that like 6 months ago, he's smashing it. Yeah. Like he knows how to smash commercial. Yeah, whereas for me, I was like, no, I want to do this plain stuff.
So So you've got to be a little bit more commercials. Obviously, a different talk. Well, actually, if you think about it, commercial, you're going after more people. Yeah. And not everybody wants to be. Well, for me, I buy a lot of flamboyant shit. Yeah. Not everybody wants to be flamboyant, right? Yeah. I love that. I mean. And I love that point about thinking you're the best when you're self-employed, especially when it's just you that started. Same as me. You're like, know everything. No one can do that better than me. Yeah. No one can edit podcasts better than me. Nobody can make.
No one can PowerPoint better than me.
Well, dude, here's a crazy thing. I have to use PowerPoint when I'm on the stage. I don't even do that. Yeah. I speak to my friend Michael. I'm like, mate, can you do the PowerPoint slides? I'll do the talking. Just put some PowerPoint slides for someone else to look at, because I'm in a position now where, especially if I don't like it, why the fuck would I do that? And again, when you're growing your business, you can't do it on your own. Yeah. But I think actually, as a businessman, for you guys that are in business, one of the hardest things in business, I think, is the people. Yeah. And getting the right people is so fucking hard.
Well, like I was saying before on Brendan Francis, like 2 years into the business, he got the CEO in and he hired 2 people. So he hired 2 like older men. I think they must be in the 50s now. Yeah. And that he said that grew his business. But to do that 2 years in, you must have some sort of like, someone be like doing this, because 2 years into a business, you don't think, oh, I need a CEO. You think, no, I'm going to do every single thing.
Well, dude, I've been self-employed for 19 years since I was 21. 19 years. 19 years. And stop it. Matt already kills it. In fact, we've done 7 podcasts or 8 podcasts, and on 3 of them, I've mentioned the fact that Max smashed us in jiu-jitsu a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And you know what he said to us to make us feel better? I was proper pissed off. I was nearly crying. Man, I'm so shit. You know when you train jiu-jitsu and you just get fucked up, you're like, I'm getting worse,
90% not better. Of the time.
I just get mashed, right? And then to make us feel better, Max said, you're twice my age, you know. I'm like, mate, you're supposed to be making us feel better, not worse. But at 19 years, but still, it's still taken me this long to get the right people in. Yeah. Like, I fucked up so many times.
2 years in, I just think, like, How? Because obviously Gymshark wasn't even the size it was. Gymshark 2 years in, he said he was just working out.
They blew up pretty quick, though, didn't they?
Well, he was doing all the stringers and stuff, and I think he got into the influencer market and stuff.
The stringers, I love that. The stringers,
well, he was like one of the first people to do them, apart from like Gold's Gym and stuff. But then obviously, like 2 years in, his business wouldn't have been anywhere. So to obviously get them people in, because they must have been quite high up as well, because you couldn't have just got them in and then they've learned within the business. Like if they're 40, 50, they must have been doing something else. So to do that from a young age, he's done mint. You know what I mean? It's been crazy.
Yeah.
But like now I know with TOYG, I know I need to do that at 2 years in, because 2 years in for me, with Fresh, I was doing everything. I was doing customer service, I was doing orders, all that sort of shit, and then I was designing and stuff, and it just...
What was your first hire, apart from your mum?
Yeah.
Did you pay your mum, by the way?
Yeah.
Did you pay her?
Yeah.
Just pay that board?
50 pence a bucket.
Yeah, mum, go and get yourself a mix-up.
That's what it was. No, but that's another thing that I get proud of now. Like, the thing is, I like to be like...
Is your mum still involved at all?
No, she's nothing she could be involved in. Like, I would love to give her something to do, but at the minute, it's just like... I get everything done in Turkey.
Yeah.
So like, unless you can undercut Turkey. I don't think
Mom, you're not.
But no, there's nothing really.
What was your first hire then?
For her to do, my first hire. First hire was someone to do customer service and orders.
Really?
From a unit, yeah, because I was doing all that, and that's probably the most painful bit.
Was that
dealing
like
with
the shipping, like just shipping them and stuff?
Yeah. So just shipping them, and like you say, customers, because sometimes customers can be hard to deal with, and you've got to come across in the nice customer's way. Always right way, but you know sometimes the customer's not right. I've had orders turn up with photo people's addresses, and I know they're because they've signed for it, and the people took pictures outside like, no, it's not arrived, and you've just got to be like,
you can't just tell them to fuck off.
You can't be like, no, you're wrong, because then that's when people send you paragraphs from training standards and stuff like that, and I'm just thinking, so that was the first thing.
That's got to be one of the hardest things to deal with then, is customers.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially when you're doing fucking large volume.
But that's the thing as well, though, you've got to appreciate that they're coming to you, because like there's so many clothes you can buy. So if someone wants to buy top for you £35, I'm like, Jesus, like this person like really wants to invest in the brand, so you've got to kind of look after them in that way. But other people can kind of be like, no, you're in the wrong. But you've got to think like you're taking that person's money, and anybody, there's massive brands out there that could, you know what I mean? So you've got to treat them like...
Is returns a hard part of this thing? Like people buying I didn't know this was a thing. I buy shit and sometimes I get the wrong size. I can't be bothered.
I do stuff like that too.
Do you? You're like, I have to send it back, so you just give it to Mac.
I just give
it to Mac.
Pass it down. I pass down to brothers and stuff.
This
can't be asked. But returns, for us, returns isn't that bad, because the quality of stuff is mint.
Yes.
Like if it was like Boohoo,
as long as someone gets the right size,
never. That's the case for us. It's never ever the case, because we've got systems set up, so it can't really happen. If it is returned, it's normally for like little bad bits of stitching or tiny little things like that, because obviously when it comes from the factory, not everything's gonna be perfect.
So it comes from Turkey to your.
From Turkey, but like in Turkey,
where are you guys based?
Do you know where Silverlink is?
I do.
We've just got like a warehouse just behind Silverlink. But
I think that's where Andy Brown.
Is he?
Is it like a new set of units?
New-ish. Not like new.
I think that's
where Davy Brown you're talking about.
I know Andy Brown.
Davy Brown. I don't know who Andy Brown is, but Davy Brown has like a detailing company. So you're based over there. Everything comes from Turkey. How's COVID affected your business?
You know what it is? It's done mint.
Has it?
For us, it's actually done mint. So like we're done just before COVID-19 happened. We'd done a load of tracksuits and stuff. So luckily for us, we didn't do any summer stuff.
Yes.
We've done summer stuff. We've done swim shorts and all that. We probably would have been a bit like, oh shit, what we're gonna do?
Because no one's going on holiday.
But luckily for us, we've got like 40 new tracksuits in. We've got like 30 new t-shirts, and everyone on furlough and stuff. Obviously, they've still got money, so people have just been buying. If anything, this year is looking like going to be one of our best years online.
Crazy that.
But just online, yeah. So, but obviously for other people, I know people that are going through a bad time, like dress companies and stuff.
Yes.
It's been shit.
Yeah.
Like,
so you just kind of managed to miss putting your summer order in.
I can't put any other way apart from being lucky, because we're just about to put like a pretty big summer thing in.
Yeah.
So if we had it, it would have just been like, we've got all this stock. Then next year it probably wouldn't even been in fashion. Because with Fresh, it's a very that year fashionable company. It's not like what TOYG's going to be. TOYG's going to be in all year round active wear. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Fresh, you've got to kind of do stuff in the season. Like we've done checkered stuff before, and it was like a month out, and I didn't sell a thing of it.
Really?
You know, like checkered stuff.
Yes.
We've done that like a month out because it's a bit later. We haven't sold it.
What do you do with all that stock, by the way?
A single thing. It's just in the unit.
Is it?
But then when the Black Friday comes, you just get rid of it.
Yeah.
But we wait for like Black Fridays, January
extra
sales.
Smalls and that.
Yeah.
I never get my size in the fucking. Whenever there's a sale, it's like double XL and fucking extra small. Yeah.
But Black Friday, it's fucking crazy on that week. It's like everybody saves their money for that week.
Is it?
Like that week, you can do like what you do in like 6 months.
Really?
It's fucking, honestly, it's fucking.
Hey, I didn't know that.
Mad.
I don't really. I mean, sometimes I look, but now I'm like, oh, they're
only
going to have extra small.
Yeah, that's the thing with some companies. You go on and it's like extra small. Like you still buy it, try to squeeze in it.
Cover me body in Vaseline. Bungee jump into a pair of jeans. What's COVID been like for you then, personally?
For us, it's not really changed. We've got the designer working at home. We had one person in the office, which obviously it was allowed because it was just one person doing like the orders and keeping up with the customer service.
Yeah. What about for you personally though?
Hasn't really affected me, you know.
Has it not?
Hasn't really affected me. I've still been going to the gym.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know what I mean? But mate's giving me the keys to his gym so I could go there.
Yeah.
If anything, it's just kind of given me time to focus on this.
Has it?
Focus on TOYG. Because before, it's so easy to get caught in the rat race and be like, oh, what have I got to do there? Got to do this refresh. Whereas for the past six months, however long it's been, I've just focused on TOYG.
6 months, man.
Fucking mad.
It's mad.
No holidays, but no drinking. You haven't been able to go out, so there's been no temptation. Do you know what I mean? So you've just been able to focus on what's important, what you want to do. And I think it's a lot of people like that. A lot of people have started businesses.
Mate, I agree 100%, you know, because even at the start of lockdown, I said to all the guys in my program, I'm like, do you know what? You've got an opportunity now. And whether you like it or not, we're building the next fucking, almost the next phase of your life. And you got two options. And I mean, you can sit on your fucking arse and drink, which I think happened a lot. Even I drank. I always make a big deal of this, that I drank for 2 weeks in a row, but that's like 2 weeks in a fucking row. And everyone's like, well, that's nothing. I'm like, well, for me, maybe drinks 4 times a fucking year. 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row is quite heavy.
Oh, mate.
But the hangover was unreal, was it?
Oh, mate, I was in a fucking shit mood. There was just me in here. Matt was working from home.
Yeah.
It was hard. But I think that even then, it has been an opportunity to do something different. There's a sale coming in there. It has been an opportunity for people to build out the next phase of their life.
But you could have took it either way. You could have took it as a bad thing, or like, sorry for me. But then people have been on furlough. Like if I was still in a normal job and I was on furlough, I would be like, I've got 6 months here. What do I want to do in life? What business do I want to do? And use that furlough money. But a lot of people have just blew it. I don't know. Like people have just blown it thinking it's free money. But you either got them sort of two mindsets, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so. I saw, and I think, do you know what? I think that people that may have done a bit of both and might be like, right, this is an opportunity. It's not working. I'm going to drink. Right, that'll. You know what I mean? I think it's been such a fucking mad time.
It's been crazy.
Such a mad time for everyone, and and people with kids and that. I've got to admit this. I'm desperate for my kids to go back to.
I was going to say with kids and stuff, I'm a bit.
I've spent a lot of time with them, and it's been fun and that, but. There's only so many fucking days I can say. I can't remember the last time.
When are they back at school? Soon.
Fucking September.
Is it?
Well, the problem I've got, my kids are back for a week and then we're going on holiday for my birthday.
Where are you going to Dubai?
Dubai for my 40th, but the flights got cancelled this week.
Did they?
From Newcastle.
I was wanting to go to Dubai as well, end of the year.
You fly from Manchester.
Can you? Well, we meant to go to Marbella last week.
Yeah.
But flights got cancelled Jet 2. We didn't say any money. Didn't say any money off Ryanair because obviously they think they're going to be there.
Well, we had a pizza. Jet 2 just moved to somewhere else.
Did they?
They said you can go to Turkey or Greece. And the Turkey flight was coming home at like 3 a.m. I'm like, fuck, I need another holiday after that flight.
Would you reckon it'll happen to Dubai though? Do you reckon it'll be alright?
I do.
Imagine if it is alright though, how booming it'll be. Unbelievable.
I don't know if there'll be many people there. I don't know.
I think people just want to get away.
Well, I saw Sam was he's just been, and he said it's just like normal.
Was it? Well, it's not only busy this time of summer here because I know Dubai in summer is like 40 degrees, so English people can't be there. But in winter it pops off.
I went 2 years ago. We went to Thailand for 2 weeks, and on the way back, Dubai's like a stop off point, and we had a whole day, and I was like, I'm not staying in a hotel all day, so we're surprised the kids at the Atlantis because they love it there.
Yeah, it's
amazing. It was so fucking hot that I was like, we didn't have that much time, so we landed it from Thailand. We got straight into the fucking water park, right? It's fucking amazing, and we thought, let's not have a shower on that. We'll just go straight on the rides. It's hot as fuck, and I'm thinking we'll cool down in the water. The water, I was like fucking bath water. I was like, because Dubai's cheap in August, you know. July and August, the cheapest time to go to Dubai because it's fucking unbelievably hot.
Hot.
And even September, I'll be roasting.
I hate the sun, me as well. Though. I like being around the sun. I like it being hot. I like the sun being out, but I don't like sitting in the sun.
Being in it all the time.
I'm already tired. I don't need to put up with that heat of browning. Do you know what I mean? It's horrible.
Well, mate, when I lived in Marbella, I thought at first I loved the sun, but then by the time August came, I'm like, fucking hell, can I have a break?
Yeah.
But we'll always find something to complain about.
Same in England though, when it's hot day, like, oh, fuck me, it's so hot.
There'll be people complaining today that it's too hot. It hasn't been sunny all week. I'm more complaining.
Just the English mentality, innit? That's what it is.
Do you know what? I think this about complaining though. Everyone's like, oh, it's so negative and that. But I think sometimes people like to complain because it makes them feel better.
It's just a vent, isn't it?
It's their way of being positive sometimes.
But it's when people are doing it, like that's the only thing to do. That's when it's like.
I get it. When I love it. One of the questions I guess all the time is, oh, how do I stop people from dragging us down with the negativity? I'm like, people can't drag you down.
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, do you get any shit online?
I I don't, to be fair, I don't get that sort of shit.
It's probably because you're not as much of a prick as me.
Yeah. I'm a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Do you get hit online?
Oh, dude, someone tells me to kill myself every day.
Do they?
Oh, every day. What's it like, man? In fact,
I'm all right, me.
I've decided we're going to do a bit on the podcast where you read out people being nasty to me.
It'll
be fun.
A long day.
We'll just do 2 a show, but wouldn't that be cool?
How can people be arsed? I get the odd bad comment, but not like killing myself.
I do. Well, it's what happens when you're a bit of a fucking outspoken.
I suppose.
So, dude, let's talk about what's next then, because I'm excited to hear about what's next for you.
As in like, just
what do you focus on right now?
So like I say, with Fresh, it's kind of in its own lane now. It's kind of doing its own thing. We've got got someone running that now, so that can kind of keep growing. Obviously, with the investment and stuff, like I say, with the plans that I had yesterday, it's just mad. It's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And
do you have to stop and look back and think, fuck me, it was just me? I bet you probably had a bit of that impact today.
Well, even sometimes when I go to the warehouse and stuff, I just think, as if I'm doing, like, this is kind of like mine sort of thing. So it's just like, it's good to feel that though, because sometimes it's easy just to get caught up in
what's next,
the shit or the negative side of it. And that's what I was doing. I was like, what's next? Like, I'm not happy because such and such. Then I just got to sit back and realize, you've come this far from say £200 investment, because that's all I put in, to this now. You just think like,
is that what it was at the start?
£200 investment. I put in at the beginning. Was
your fiver in there that you got?
I just started me off.
Spent that on tabs. 200 quid investment.
200 quid investment.
That's fucking insane.
But for next, it's this TOYG. Like just solely me, and like I say, the lessons I've learned in the past 7 years, I just want to. I've learned a hell of a lot in the past 7 years to grow this into something that's not around when I'm here. Do you know what I mean? I want to refresh. It's not got a kind of a timeline, but with what brand it is, it kind of has. Like brands that are probably around for like 10, 15 years, and then they start then you go in like maybe in like bigger stores, so like Sports Direct and stuff, and then that's when you make serious money. Like, do you know, like Mackenzie and stuff?
Is it?
Like Mackenzie and stuff, I think they do like 90 million a year now. What? But you don't even think it's because they're in the Sports Directs. They're in them sort of shit. Them sort of brands.
Just getting
yeah. But like when you're in the JDs and the foot signs, you make good money. But
my head's fucking falling off.
Start making serious money.
Like you said that, made me head's fucking falling off.
It's crazy. Like brands that you wouldn't even think of. Like,
because that's such huge volume, I bet, isn't it? Like just because we wouldn't buy it.
Yeah. Just means that when it goes in Sports Direct, it's a different tier of people. Like Henley's and stuff, he's worth 60 million now.
Really?
The guy from Henley's is worth 60 million. But when his heyday, he wouldn't have been making half as much as what he's probably sold it now, but he is now. But Henley's, it's because it's the boxes, the socks and stuff that you see in Sports Direct. And when you start flooding the market with in there, that's when you start making big money. But I think we're Fresh the next 10 to 15 years, as much as I don't like to think it now, sometimes you just got to realise where it is going, because it is a very commercial brand. So in 10, 15 years, that is probably where it is going to go.
Nathan be coming in for the podcast in his helicopter.
You in your jet.
We raising helicopters over the North Sea.
Landing on the top.
We're raising helicopters over the fucking beach in Shields. But
with Fresh, it's like I say, it's kind of got a timeline, and it's buffering from where it can kind of go. And I know where everyone's got targets and stuff within a brand, but I know its targets is like a 7-figure brand now. It's not really going to exceed that, because the marketplace is so cramped with just shit, really. Like my marketplace of Fresh is just cramped with loads of brands.
Is it usually like? Do you find that? I mean, I know in any market this happens. Whether you're a fucking personal trainer, whether you've got a product, whether you've got a business, whether you're a fucking builder, that there's a lot of undercutting going on.
Yeah,
is that a challenge?
That's another thing as well, because with Fresh, we're trying to keep it at a certain price point, but then you've got like another brand that'll have a discount off every week, and really there's not really separating us, because with Fresh it's like I say, it's commercial. So you've got another commercial brand, I'm not saying no names on this, but you've got another couple of commercial brands that are just constantly price cutting fees 50% off. You can't really compete with that. Do you know what I mean? So if anything, you need, I'm not wanting to join them, but like it gets to a point where like you're just like, fucking hell, like how am I meant to?
But are they gonna last long term?
Well, that's the thing. They won't last long term.
Yeah,
they won't last long term. We got to a point where we were going to battle with them and doing the same thing, like always flips and off, and it can debrand you quite a bit. You don't really realise, but them customers are waiting and they're like, I don't want to pay.
Well, that's what you said when you said that about Black Friday. It's one of the reasons why I'll never do a discount, because one, I value what I fucking do. My product's fucking world class. I don't need a fucking discount.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And you get people waiting for the sales.
But that's the thing with when it's clothing, right? When it is something like Fresh and it is commercial, like it's not world class, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's not world class, because if someone else has a t-shirt with a print on, which really it is, if you go down to obviously we've done a lot of brand building and stuff around that, but if you just go back to like what it actually is, it's a t-shirt with a print on, or it's a tracksuit. It's nothing like what you're doing. Yours is like authentic and it's different. It's you. You kind of get another you. With me, if my top's 35 quid, but you got another brand that's kind of similar, we might be a bit better.
Yes.
They're doing it for a tenner. Who are you going to go to? You're going to go to the brand that's doing it for a tenner. There's no like real difference with us to them. Do you know what I mean? And I can see that. I'm not a naive person. I can see stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And that's where the difference with this is going to come from. Do you know what I mean? Like everything from.
So tell me about this then. What got you started with TOYG?
So with TOYG, I've been planning it for about a year now. I've always liked sports. I've always liked activewear. It's all I really wear.
I've only ever seen you in activewear, bro.
That's what I mean. So for the past couple of years, it's kind of been like, well, why do I not do this? It's kind of a passion. I want to build a brand and where I build with athletes that want to be at the top of the game. Like for Adam's fight, I'm giving him all his clothes for his fight because he sort of fits the criteria. But for now, it's not even about money. It's more about I want to get the right target audience. I want to build the right brand. I want to build like a family of athletes and stuff that I can grow with. Whereas with Fresh, at the beginning, it was just like, oh, that's such and such money, or I'll jump on that because that's such money. Whoever was just giving the highest money, I was jumping on. Whereas now I don't really have to do that. It's about building a brand, and I think that's like people.
And you'll be having more fun with it, I bet, as well.
That's what I mean, because I love doing it. Well, people probably laugh now, but like I want it to be the size of like Gymshark and stuff. I know Fresh can it. I'm not naive. I know Fresh can it hit them sort of levels. I know Fresh is going to be a commercial brand for a lot of years, and it's going to be like fluctuating in price, and it's not like say not going to go over the 7 figures. Whereas with TOYG, I believe I can get it to like the big. But I know what I need to do. I know the mistakes I've done within Fresh that I can't do within another brand.
And you can do it all faster, right?
That's what I mean. And wholesale and stuff like that, none of that's happening this time. The only reason I've really done wholesale with Fresh is because the money was there and it was like, oh, I'm in a store. That novelty wore off.
You kind of needed that to grow as well, I bet, at the time.
100%. Like, I'll never say it's a bad thing because it was a mint thing. And obviously saying you're in JD and futsal and say you've done that, it's a massive achievement.
And you've got the contacts if you need them.
And I've got the contacts. But now with this, I know I don't want to do that sort of stuff because when you do go in stores that are futsal and JD, if something not selling for them within 30 days, they can discount it to whatever they want.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. So if my best sellers doing mint online, JD, so obviously fucking put a bit of marketing into it.
Buying it cheap off there.
Sell it for fucking a tenner, I'm trying to 35. Just debrands the thing.
Do this check the other week, right? My friend put us on a pair of trainers, right? My friend in the States. Said, mate, where the fuck are them trainers from? He said they're called Nike Workhorse or something, right? Workhorse.
Some mad names.
Wild Horse. Nike Wild Horse, they were called. I might fucking got my name written all over them. So I bought them and they were 50% off. And Matt was like, where'd you get them from? Next day, fucking gone up the full price again. He was fucking spewing.
Was it on the site?
Nike.com. Nike.com. He was spewing about that. So TOYG is going to be literally your own thing, all online sales.
All online sales. I'm not doing any wholesale. Like I'm doing like a warm up thing within it, and I'd like that to sit in Selfridges and maybe like a cruise one day, like be an activewear within a store like that because it doesn't happen. It doesn't actually happen. So I'd like to break the barrier of having like a high end. Because I'm never ever going to discount this brand. Like I want to be a high end sort of activewear brand, but at a cheaper price. Yeah. But I'd like it to sit in Selfridges and cruise and stuff. But because it's never been done, some people are looking think, oh, he's not going to do that. But until it is done, then people will be like,
someone's got, dude,
fucking hell.
Someone's got to be the first to do it.
That's what I mean. It's same with Fresh, known for I would be in JD and stuff. But when I did, people are like, oh, I knew you'd always do it.
Dude, what's that like, by the way? When I love that. I always believed in your mush.
Like
what's that like going into a store like that and seeing your shit in there?
Yeah, it was crazy because it was like a big mass. I think it was like 20-foot picture of me like on the thing wearing that top.
Was it?
Yeah, it was wearing that top. That's
what made me get it, bro.
Everyone was
a fanboy.
You see me, you're like, and I look like that.
I'm getting me neck tattooed next.
Already started there. But no, that was crazy, and I used to get loads of people Snapchatting and be like, oh no, like as if you've done that well done. I'm proud of you, and I'm just thinking like, oh, like you don't even really know. You don't even know who I am, and you never bought a thing.
If you're proud of me, buy a fucking t-shirt.
That's what I mean. But it's the same with like now, you just kind of. It's not like nice for people to show support. Yeah, it's nice for people to show support, but like it just goes over your head. I don't think, oh, like, you know what I mean? I know the people that were there from the beginning. I know the people that supported. Even with TOYG now, I know people that support. Like Mac put an order in. Do you know what I mean? Like when I get to the top, I always remember little things like that because I just like even with TOYG now, even I'm starting fresh. People like share it and stuff like that. I'll remember.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But people don't really think you will.
Yeah.
But when I'm a bit high and people are like, oh no, you could always do it. I'm like, why didn't share at the start?
We were talking about this with a podcast. I'm like, you know what? These people that are messaging now, they're ignoring me messages. I mean, this fucker's going to be all over me in a year's time.
That's what I mean.
When I've got the biggest podcast,
that's what I mean.
He's going to be begging to come on.
That's what I mean. That's it. It happens. Yeah. But you just got to remember them people from the start, and you always do. I remember the people from Fresh at the start, and whenever they want stuff now, they get stuff, and I sort of discount. Do you know what I mean? I do all that sort of stuff, and I'll message them and I'll give them tips. And
it's funny how that works, isn't it? It is funny how that works because I always say this: when someone from my town buys me program, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's kind of like...
It never happens.
Nah, it doesn't. In fact, I have a saying, I've never been booked for a speaking gig in South Shields.
Yeah.
Or I've done one in Newcastle, but I'll go.
People don't want
get asked to go to
fucking
Dubai. I get asked to go to America.
Yeah.
I've been to fucking Florida. I've spoken in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But I've never been booked for South Shields. And the fucking
the shows have done it, mate. It speaks volumes.
The council are paying for people to come from fucking London and that to put on these fucking things. I'm like, why aren't you paying me?
It speaks volumes that people in your own city don't want you to see well because they just think, oh, well, he's coming from the same place as me and he's doing well. Like, they just don't like it.
It's insane, isn't it?
They don't like it and they even want to slag you off. But, like, you see other people from other cities and they don't even really know them and they support on you like there's no tomorrow.
It is mad, isn't it?
But it might be just it might be just the North East, I don't know, because in Manchester they seem to be very like supportive of the artists, the rappers, the brands and stuff down there. They're all supportive.
They'll say we're going to have Crawler on, and Manchester always get behind someone. Did you see Zelfa Barrett fight last week or not? No, Zelfa's apparently going to be the new the matchroom one.
Yeah, he knocked that kid out, didn't he?
Dude, what a fucking left.
I seen that.
Did you see
it at the end
as well? Did you see what Eddie Hearn said at the end?
No, I don't watch it.
Dude, I love this. So if you're into boxing, you have to watch this. And we've got a lot of guys who are into fighting here. So Zelfa Barrett had been with Frank Warren for years, right? He's a great little boxer, right? Yeah, skillful as fuck. He was actually Crawler's sparring partner for Linares. Mm-hmm. That's how I heard about him. Anyway, he's fighting this kid, and he was his big debut on Matchroom, right? Eddie Hearn made a big deal about him, saying he was going to do this, and he got schooled for 6 rounds before he knocked that kid out.
Did he?
Anyway, at the end, he was really disappointed. Like, he was like, when they were doing the interview, he was apologising to people, and Eddie Hearn gave him live on fucking TV on Sky an unbelievable motivational speech. It blew me away. But anyway, the reason I'm saying that is because they're positioning him as the next Manchester thing. Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
Manchester's like that. Like, London's not really like that, but Manchester is like that. Like, the back people from the start, and that's why the clothing brand is so big. That's why there's so many business people, because people in your own city back you. But people don't realise if people in your own city back you will go quite a lot further than what you can. Do you know what I mean? Like, with me, with Fresh, I hardly ever get any orders from Newcastle. Yeah. Never ever. Even when we were in the Foot Asylum store in Newcastle, Newcastle was one of the lowest ones.
Really?
No one in Newcastle wants to support, but I don't know if it's because you're from Newcastle and people don't really think.
Like envy you.
People envy. I don't know if it's. Yeah.
Ain't that mad, that though? It's a crazy thing. I'd love to know why that is.
It's weird. I don't know why it is.
I bet it's something to do with
in the water.
Dude, I reckon there's something in the water. Mark said there's something in the water for you guys that aren't from South Shields.
You're going to get yourself jumped.
Do you know what? I think that it's probably some like primal fucking instinct to do with a tribe or something like that. I bet.
It must be Newcastle though, because it's like I said, Manchester's not like that.
Yeah.
But if people in your own city supported you, they don't realise how much you could actually help. You know, like a little order or just that share. It means a lot to the person, even though you might not think they see it. They do. They think.
And you know, I remember during coronavirus, people were saying support your local businesses and that. I'd be interested to see. Like, if that's actually happening now or not. That's why I kept
with restaurants and that will, because obviously people need to go out around the city, but like with online brands and stuff, it just doesn't happen.
No.
It doesn't happen.
It's funny. That's why I kept paying my gym membership at SBG, because I'm like,
I did as well.
Did you? I wanted to be there when I come back.
I did as well.
Have you been in yet?
Yeah, it's mint.
Have you?
It's crazy.
I've been in.
I've been in to hit the bags, but I haven't been in.
But I'm the same. Even if
I'm desperate for some full contact things.
I'm the same. I've been going for the past couple of weeks.
Hey, what got you into training?
It's always I've always liked sport, to be fair. I've always been an active.
Yeah. Well, where did you train first? You trained in Newcastle, right?
Active sort of person.
You trained at Bad Boy, right?
Yeah, I went to Bad Boy. I was only for like 6 months. I was on and off, and then SBG, obviously, it's on and off. But it just kind of
How did you find out about SBG?
I went to Bama. I went to Bama's fight with Adam Proctor. He was fighting Nathan.
Oh, did you?
And I seen that, and obviously the hype around it and that, and then they choked him out and stuff, and just that atmosphere. I was like, it's fucking mint that.
Yeah.
So it was just like. And then I started to go on SBG, and then obviously met Alex and stuff. And
what do you like the most at SBG? What do you like? MMA, jiu-jitsu,
I'm better at the jiu-jitsu, but I do like the kickboxing and that side of things. Yeah. What's your two favourites? I know yours is jiu-jitsu.
Mine's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, I'll tell you the truth. It's boxing.
What was it like when you won, by the way? Was it unbelievable atmosphere? I don't think it'll be any better feeling than winning a fight.
You'll have one.
And I would like to, like, when I can put 100% time into it. But me, I'm quite heavy.
We'll get you on Fame MMA. We'll get him on Fame MMA. We're fucking fighting Sam. Fighting Sam or Chalmers. We'll get him set up on Fame MMA.
Someone actually said that, you know. So one of Chalmers' agents actually said that. He was
really?
Like, are you thinking of fighting and stuff? Or we can kind
really?
of fight it on a show. And I was just thinking, like, if I wanted to fight, I'd want to just have a proper fight.
Yeah.
You'd go all in though, wouldn't you? You'd have to be like, right, this clothing's on hold.
It would have to be 100%, and that's why even at SBG I don't really go. If I can't dedicate myself and go every single day, and I know I put 100% in, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So if I was to have a fight now, I know I'd get battered because I'm not at that stage of being able to put 100%.
Dude, my favourite thing is actually boxing, but Lesley, my wife, hates me boxing.
Why?
Well, I'm just 40 years old, getting punched in the fucking head.
It hurts to
40 years old, 40 years old getting punched in the head, and the problem is when I get into boxing, I'm like, can I have a fight? Can I have a fight? Can I have a fight? It's like you're fucking 40 years old with 2 kids, man.
You never too.
Look
at Mike Tyson and Roy Jones.
Oh, dude,
54.
That's mad.
That's going to be
coming back.
That is. Do you think it'll happen?
I think
it'll happen. I just hope it's not.
Nigel Benn meant to be having a fucking fight?
Was he?
Aye. Nigel Benn was.
They just need to retire like Divinus.
Like,
why be remembered for your last fight being that? Why not remember as being a legend? Like Mike Tyson had a couple of fights where he just got battered off people. But to some people, they'd be like, "Oh, he was better." Like he fought someone who was like 40 odd. He fought like young kid and he got battered. Like so, in some people's heads, he'd be like, "Oh no, he got battered off that kid."
I don't think he'll be.
He's
Roy
nowhere
Jones,
in his prime. Don't reckon?
Nah, Roy Jones is fucking class, man.
Are the same weight?
I don't think there will be.
Although,
you never know if Roy Jones hasn't been. Anyone that hasn't been training will be the same.
I was going to say they would be putting a bit of size of them, wouldn't they? Mike Tyson looks a fucking beast.
He's obviously started training again and being like, "Fuck this!" He's getting ignited the hunger in him.
See, either that or the money's too much. He even says he hated fighting, like the hatred inside of him, he hated it.
Yeah.
So really? Can it just click back at that and can? You know what I mean, I think the money's just too much to turn down.
Well, Tyson was like he hated the training camps, and now he loves training. And the fights are bonus.
You don't know though. They can portray anything to look like anything, can't they? He could just be doing them videos going home.
And to have a fighter, you've got to have a different. I think we talk about this quite a lot. That you've got to have a different kind of mentality.
You've either got to be like a full-on psychopath or just top care.
Well, dude, we were talking to dude. You got to listen to the interview with Davy Grant, man. Davy Grant.
Yeah, I was going to watch it.
Oh yeah, dude. Honestly, Davy's a fucking wild man, and we were saying you have to be a little bit nuts to fight, and they were straight away. They both went, aye.
100%.
You've got to be. That's right. But like Adam though, he's not nuts. That's the thing. He's obviously got a normal job and stuff.
Adam Proctor.
You can tell but he's unbelievable, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's training. But you've got to be that
technical.
tough to be training like that, or you've got to be that motivated and hungry to be training like that.
That's the thing. If Adam's even when he's injured, he's
there.
He's in.
I've never not been there, and he's never been there. And if he has, it's been something I like. He snap his nails. So that's what it would take for him not to be there.
You're right.
That's the sort of hunger. Even in business, you've got to have that.
I think Alex might have to tell him not to come in sometimes.
Yeah. He's still outside.
He's looking through the fucking window. It's mad, dude. Let me ask you one more question then, and this is a weird question. Because we were talking about a lot of guys setting up this clothing thing and coming into this trade and this industry, thinking about setting up a clothing brand. What would some of your fucking tips be? Because I'm sure there's some young lads listening thinking, I'd love to do that. I'd say in this day and age, when I first started, like I say, it was a bit different. Like I could get away with printing a top, putting a print on a t-shirt. Like I could get away with it. There wasn't no boohoo man. There wasn't anyone selling it for like £7, so I could meet the price point as well. Whereas now everything's changed, and obviously we're starting TOYG as well. You've just got to be authentic. Like when you think of activewear, you think of Nike, you think of Adidas, you think of Gymshark, you think how the fuck am I going to do that? Like how do you stay authentic with clothes?
Well, that's what I mean.
It's a difficult thing.
The fact Nike's doing every single thing possible. Like you've got Gymshark doing everything. You've got like Under Armour. Do you know what I mean? In the activewear scene for even me now,
it's smaller. It's less
hard,
product.
But like what I've done now is I've put so much dedication into each product. So when somebody gets that product at like 28 quid, they're going to think, fucking hell, have I only got this at 28 quid? Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to pack as much profit, even for myself, taking it and putting it into this product, and someone gets it, and then you build that customer base.
Higher quality.
You build that customer base for the next year or 2 years. You might not make any money, but you've got that customer base. So then when anything you do, they know it's going to be unbelievable quality. Put no corners.
I think I've heard two things there. One of them is focus on fucking quality over quantity. And the second one is understand that you're not going to have any money for a bit. Or you're not going to make any 100%. Money from the thing a bit.
Or even if you can make money, because some people start and they do like £35 top and it's costing them £4 to be made. Why do that? I would rather spend 15 quid on a top or 20 quid on a top, which obviously if you spend that much on a top, it's fucking ridiculous. You're going to get some quality and some stuff for a top for 20 quid. But like, as long as you're breaking even and you're getting that customer base and you're building that data, you're building that newsletter.
I bet you build quite a lot of loyalty as well, when it's a good product.
That's what I mean, and that's what I've learned from Fresh at the beginning. It wasn't about quality; it was about making money, and it was about just selling in the masses. But now it's more like I've got a vision and I want to like make these products the best products. So when someone gets that, I want to be next to Nike. I want to be like, if you're going to shop, obviously Nike's a fucking massive brand, but I want you to put TOYG and be like, fucking hell, this is better than Nike. Do you know what I mean? And it's not that hard to do. People think, oh, you're going against Nike and that. Yeah, they've got the massive brand, they've got the massive sponsorships and stuff. But if you were to put my brand in Nike and you were to feel both of them and you didn't, and you took the branding off, you wouldn't have a clue what the difference is. And that's what the difference is with most brands who people start these days. They think of the money straight away and they don't think, or they see brands like Nike and they think, oh, I can't start an activewear brand, there's Nike. So why not compete with Nike? You're not going to compete with them on the money side of things. You're not going to compete with them on the branding side of things. But product wise, you know what I mean? You can compete with them.
Yeah,
I love that.
Like, and that's.
So let me ask you. I want to ask you another question because I didn't think about this. How are you dealing? Because obviously you get setbacks.
Yeah.
You get fucking obstacles.
Yeah.
What's your kind of strategy for dealing with that mentally?
I think in business, you just got, it comes with the parcel. And for me, I think every time I get a setback, I know that's it out the way. You're going to get setbacks. No business does not have setbacks. So when I do have a setback, you just sit with your team or you sit with whoever and you just think like, how we're going to deal with this. You deal with it in any way you can, and then you know that's out the way, and then you know you've.
Yeah, I think as well that often the bigger you get, often the more challenges you're going to have, but the better you get at dealing with them. Like it's like anyone that I think one of the biggest problems people have is thinking they shouldn't have problems.
Yeah,
like you just get. I have this saying where new levels brings new devils.
Yeah.
So the more
100%.
successful you get, the different level of challenges and obstacles come in.
Well, when we got in JD, the first time we got in JD, right, I think they ordered about 20,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And they'd lost
20,000.
This is how big their warehouse was, right? They'd lost 7,000 pieces.
What?
So like they got twin sets in, right? They got the twin sets in, but they lost the shorts for the twin sets. So the twin set, so it wasn't a twin set anymore. It was just t-shirts.
Right.
And obviously at the time we can't go in, we can't look for it. It all needs to be booked in for the people to look for it, and they couldn't find it because to go in JD, all your boxes need to be the same. Right. So all they have that's different is your like label on. So obviously you got a thing if you go in the JD warehouse. It was fucking like it was like an estate, right? Because we dropped the stuff off like in a truck. Yeah. And it was like an estate, and obviously we couldn't look for it. But that was a massive thing because when they said they lost 7,000, they're like, oh. We can't book it in to look for it until the 29th or something like that. Yeah. But we were going in store on the 25th, so then we were like, well, it's not going to do as well because it's not going to fill out the section that we need it to.
Yes.
It's not going to be twin sets.
Yes.
So when it did go in, not as many people were buying it because it wasn't a twin set, and the thing was made as a twin set.
Did they reimburse you for it?
Well, they never found it to this day. We got paid for it. And
someone's lifted 7,000 pairs of shorts.
I think someone put it in the back of the car or something like that.
But it'd be crazy if you saw someone with them shorts.
Literally, and I'd be like, "Well, that's
where'd you get them from, bro?"
But the launch didn't go as well as we planned because of that. Because the promotions, the photography, they all had these shorts and that in, and obviously we spent time making sure everything what was in the pictures and stuff was on this. We even had like influencers and stuff promoting and stuff on a day, and then they didn't decide to launch it the week after. So these people promoted it saying go to JD. Obviously, I couldn't cancel it, so paid all this money for promotion and stuff. It didn't go until the week later. So people were going to JD and it wasn't there. It wasn't there, and then obviously, like say they lost the stuff, and then and we were still promoting the stuff that wasn't obviously in. Like it's some big setbacks like that you just think fucking hell. Like don't get it wrong, people think you're in JD, why you moaning? It's a good setback to have, but at the time it's just like fucking hell, 7,000 things. What if I don't get paid for that? Like
then it just gets to a point where you've just got to kind of accept the fact, and
you've just got to kind of step back.
You can kind of accept the fact of that.
You got to count your blessings as well. That I was in there. I've got to think, I'm going into JD at the end of the day, and that's what did kind of like chill my stress levels a bit.
Yeah, I see setbacks like that is like almost like collecting power, collecting experience. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's collecting experience so that the next time something like that comes up, you're like, well, I've already dealt with something like that. It's easier now.
Well, that's the thing. It is just all a lesson. Like you said yourself before, it's either a lesson or...
It's like when you first go to jiu-jitsu, you get smashed all the time.
I still do now.
And then I've been doing too. I just get smashed a little bit less. Just get smashed a little bit less.
That's the littlest kid. The littlest white belt.
Let's pick on that
16-year-old.
The 16-year-old white belt.
Even then, I still get
60 kilo 16-year-old white belt. Nathan, how do you handle work-life balance?
See, for a lot of time it was... See, I went through both stages. I went through the stages when I first started fresh, just working.
Yeah.
But then when I got in futsal and not JD, but when I got in futsal and stuff, I went the total opposite way.
I've made it now?
Thought I've made it.
Yes.
I was going, like I say, I had a nice house, I had like a big house, I had nice cars, I was getting watches and stuff that I didn't even want. I just thought, I've made it here. So and I just totally didn't really
show everyone that
didn't really work.
Yeah.
So I've had both sides. I've had the grafting my ass off, and I've had the not doing any work. I was wanting to buy for like 2 weeks, and it just. But now I've got the mint balance of I work hard 5 days a week. I do everything possible that I can, and then like on a Saturday, obviously, just chilling. Yeah. Sometimes if I'm not going out, I work, but you can go either way. You can stray and think, I've made all this money now. I can go on holiday, but it can soon come crashing down because when I did start doing that, it was the week we won in JD. No, it was the 2 weeks I won in JD. I kind of went out there to celebrate, which obviously is fair enough. Yeah. But I shouldn't have because that's when the 7,000 stuff went missing. Yeah. All that sort of stuff. So I was out there and I was just stressed a bit. Whereas if I was in the UK, I maybe could have done a lot more.
Yes, about it.
A lot more about it. But obviously when I was out there, it was just a lot more stressful.
Do you ever walk around the shops and say, that's my gear?
When I first started, I used to get pictures every week. every week I used to get videos and Snapchats and all that sort of shit. But now the novelty's just wore off. Like I used to buzz off people wearing it and that, but now it's just a bit like you just get used to it. Don't get it wrong, I still get a bit of proud like, oh, he's got his thing on, but now it's just a bit like
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Mark, do you want to ask Nathan anything? I've had a fucking great I've had a great time, by the way.
I've had a blast. No, I might, but most of it's been answered. I was going to ask you about the questions about order getting started, because I think it was did you do some kind of documentary or something, or something on Facebook or something?
I done a YouTube.
Yeah, it was YouTube
thing.
On it.
There's just like 10-minute like.
Yeah, and my mates all watch that, and you are topic of the group chat for a bit.
I don't know about this.
Good things at home.
No.
Is that him that was in coronavirus, the big dick? Is that him? He looks now like him.
Yeah, I seen that actually.
That's not just in COVID. But no, we were just talking. Like as I say, topic of the group chat, and just talking about. I'm just saying how it's mad because you mentioned the £200 and throwing it into that, and it's just it's fucking berserk.
I only done that because I get a lot of messages, and I just want to kind of get the point across so that it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to have rich parents, you don't have to even have a clue what you're doing at the start. Like, people think you need to have it all together. Like I get so many messages with people saying, oh, I want to start a clone brand, how do you do this? Right up until like 20 points the one answered. I just think just throw yourself in,
make the first
you
step.
You do one thing at a time. It's not like even with Fresh, when I first started it, I didn't have copyright, I didn't have any of that. Obviously as I went on, it was a bastard to get.
Yes.
But like stuff like that, you learn, and it's a step-by-step business. So as long as you just throw yourself in, even if you just fucking start an Instagram, bang, that's step one, then step two. But a lot of people think businesses, this step, that step.
30 steps figured out.
I've got to have that money, or what if I get in jail?
And then you never get started.
You never get started because it just puts you off. But with anything, unless you know that sector, or you know, like with obviously TOYG, I've had about 30 checklists that I need to do. So that's because I've already been there. But at the start, you just throw yourself in
and just do your first fucking t-shirt.
One by one. That's what I say. Anyone, I say
do a t-shirt for your mates.
Start with Instagram. I say when people message me, I just say start with logo, get a brand name, and just make sure it's available. That's all I say.
You still do the socials?
Nah, someone does it now. I done it up to about a year ago.
About a year ago,
I started doing the social. It just needed like a bit of a new lease of life, because it was. I was doing it for about 4 or 5 years, and obviously this kind of captions and the way I was marketing it was just kind of the same. But now, Dale, who's just came in now, he runs all that. He runs operations.
Do you have like a schedule
Instagram
for it, like post however many times?
We used to use there was like a automated app thing that used to just post for you, but they would stop you. I think it was something like that, but we'll stop using it now. But Dale just has like set times when he just posts, but the algorithm with Insta is shit at the minute.
Is it?
Like it's really bad. We have like 120,000 followers, and only like 5,000 people view each thing, which is fucking crazy.
Facebook's worse than that. But Facebook's 5%, so we have
that's what Instagram
I have 41,000 followers on my Facebook page, and about 5% of that see it.
And it never used to be like that.
Do you know why it is?
Because they want you to pay.
They want you to boost your post.
That's what I mean. It never used to be like that. Again, when I started, it was 100% team stuff, if not more.
TikTok and everything's blown up.
TikTok's crazy. I reckon TikTok will be the same. That's why with TikTok, you've got to kind of get your followers and stuff now. And so then if it does start doing what Instagram going, you got that followers, so it does drop 10%. If you've got like 1 million followers, you've got like.
Are you on TikTok?
100,000. I'm
not on TikTok because I'm not 7 years old.
I was on. Oh no, I'm not got TikTok.
I was gonna say that. I love TikTok.
I did have. I was just doing more the comedy side of it though, because I was thinking this could be good for a brand.
You
but
can
then
be so creative.
Once I was on, I was just saying, this is a bit like it is a bit young. I don't want my brand or anything to go.
I know like 3 people on it, and one of them's my 7-year-old daughter.
I haven't downloaded it specifically because I know I just waste so much time. Do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
Remember, I feel like it's very much like Vine.
It is. I think a lot of people are on it though is because it is the algorithm, and a lot of people, a lot of the influencers now are getting paid a shitloads of money because Instagram have took that away. If Instagram was to go back to normal algorithm and even just show your whole followers your shit, which it should anyway, it's kind of scam that it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It should show your whole followers, then we wouldn't have this issue. But a lot of people are moving from.
I think a lot of people are using TikTok to grow their Facebook and Instagram because they're getting obviously.
Well, you seen that Alison Ray, that bird? She's got like I don't know, about 50 million TikTok followers, and she's chilling with like the Kardashians, and she's got like 20 million followers on Instagram now. But she was just a TikTok dancer.
Yeah, really.
But obviously because the algorithms made her fucking like I've only posted a couple of videos on TikTok. I've got 10,000 followers already, and I've done fuck all. To do that on Instagram, you need to have Instagram for years. But obviously she's got like 40 million. She's chilling with, like I said, doing the dances with the Kardashians and stuff. And that was just off 2 years of having TikTok.
And they'll probably be paying her to fucking teach them.
That's what I mean. Like she'll be a millionaire now. So TikTok is a mint way to. Depending on what business you do, it is a mint way to get your business out there.
Thing is, there's no. It's kind of like the Wild West as well at the minute. Like, there's no
rules.
There's no rules.
Yeah,
whereas Instagram, you kind of have.
Instagram's fucking.
Well, I'll tell you what, Facebook or they've got so many rules now.
Yeah.
Instagram definitely have less rules than
I
Facebook.
honestly
about
think
ads
there's
and
going
that.
to be another platform coming about soon that's just going to wipe.
Yeah.
I feel.
People are saying that about TikTok.
There's always because I don't think TikTok's very social.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be another social platform.
Yeah. There's got to be.
Where people shoot the shit with each other.
Yeah, well, it's just like another Facebook or Instagram.
Well, Twitter's nearly away.
Look when Facebook was
Twitter's
about.
dead, isn't it?
Do you know how I know Twitter's dead? Because I went to the cinema and there was an advert for Twitter.
Was there?
How crazy is that? An advert for Twitter
That's
saying
this
is where you get the news first, Twitter.
Yeah, they've never done that, have they? Nah. You can tell Twitter's dying out though. It's not about hashtags and all that shit anymore, is it? You can tell it's dead.
I went on the other day, but that was just so I could message Chris Ramsey because he follows us on Twitter to try and get me mate, you fucking ignored us on there and I don't want to text you. Not that you're going to be watching me, but if you are watching, you better check your fucking Twitter or I'm going to send you a dick pic.
Tweet him. Tweet him.
I tweeted him, he ignored that as well.
I was going to say that's a good thing about Twitter now though, because that many people don't use it anymore. You probably can get just like that's the only good thing about Twitter.
Be like going back on MSN and sending fucking ASL.
Literally go back Vivo, all that sort of shit.
Amazing, MySpace. All right, listen, that's it for another episode of Paul Mort Talk Shit. Nathan Malcolm, thank you very much, my man.
Cheers, brother. It's been good.
Amazing, thank you.